Okay, I have a little update here. We had a family reunion on Saturday, and that was interesting because I made cookies. Well, Matt and I made cookies. In fact, we've been making cookies a good bit lately. Truth be told, we went and made. Well, we started at 100. It was supposed to be 170, and turned into what was a grand total? 300 what? 370. Because somebody wanted stars and snowmen and trees and something else. Oh, snowflakes. But anyway, and each one of the suckers had to get hand decorated. His fingers were green. Anyway, that was that. Now, because of the fact we were going through all this cookie dough to make sugar cookies, I broke a mixer. So, yeah, we had to mix everything by hand. Look, I do a lot of things with this hand, catch my drift, but even it was cramping after a while. You can only mix so many times with an oversized spark. Anyway, so that was that. But on the family reunion, we had I took my cookies down one. It was wonderful. We had a good old time. Everything was just great. Which brings me up to something I had to get clearance on, which I did and I didn't. So I'm going to keep this real short and sweet. Okay? Here's the deal. Before I get to the story, I have to tell you about my new toy. Put this way. I got one. I know it's not quite, it's not industrial, but it's about as close as I'm allowed to have within, say, you need a permit for something that big. I don't have a permit yet. But here's the cool part. You turn it on, it does that thing, but then you do this really neat thing where you hit the booster button. I know some of you think this is completely ridiculous, but this is my new toy. I already had to make frosting in it the other night. And the first time I ever made buttercream frosting, I used a hand mixer. And buttercream frosting, 2 sticks of butter, Paula Dean would love me, 2 sticks of butter and 2.5, 3 cups, or the whole bag, as far as I'm concerned, of powdered sugar. And you beat until it's nice and fluffy. Matt walked into the kitchen and he could taste the sugar in the air, and with that thing even, I kind of, and it was like a fogger in my kitchen. I loved it because I got to, impress myself. That thing, those beaters, do you ever, like when you were kids, your mom lets lick the beaters, Well, there's this little expression that goes, a good mom lets her kids lick the beaters. A great mom shuts the mixer off first. My mother, she would just go, "Kids, you want the beaters?" And I'd run down and she'd pop those suckers off. My sister and I got each one. And it was like a competition. It was like I was tonguing. It was like French kissing a beater. Like, it's amazing. When you were done licking it, well, for myself, my tongue was feeling some strain because, I can't help myself and I like to lick everything. Well, I think that might be where my oral fixation kicked in at. I was licking this phallic-looking thing was covered in gooey goodness. So, now, moving on to the whole point of this video, which is basically going to be this. When I working at a certain food establishment, I'll put it this way. It was one of the big, giant fast food places. I won't say the name of it. I was working the drive-thru on the overnight. Well, wouldn't you know it, this one female I got to know, her and I'd say we became pretty good friends because we were stuck together so much. Really nice. I got kicked out working with her. We really clicked real well. Well, one night she goes home on her break. She comes back and gives me this remote control. It's about yay big. And I went, "What is that?" She goes, "I bought one of those wireless eggs, those, like, toys." I'm like, "Okay." And she goes, "Well, it's in." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "Here you go. Let's see what happens." I'm like, "You're kidding me." So I put it in my pocket. And while I'm cooking in the kitchen, doing orders, working on the grill, making food, doing my usual stuff, I was at the right height. I could tap my hip off the edge of the counter and it would go low, medium, high, off. Okay? Well, when an order would come up, she goes, "Thank you." She would say her greeting and be like, "Well, you can go with your order," blah, blah, blah. And she'd be trying to get the order, and I'd be like hitting it while I'm trying to make a sandwich. And this thing would, she's trying to take, It was interesting. 2 hours of this. She was doing this. Running back and we're trying to get milkshakes and trying to make this and trying to make that and she is like trying to and she it was so funny when she's trying to make coffee. She's like and this is what happened. Trying to give change back to customers and I'm just tapping my hip off the thing. It was funny. So around I want to say 3:30, quarter to 4, something like that. She says, "Look, take the headset." I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "I'm going into the bathroom. Put it on high. When I'm done, I'm going to pound on the wall and shut it off." I'm like, "Cool beans." She goes around the corner. She's back doing what she's got to do to get herself to see her fireworks and hear her symphony and to have a mint. Well, wouldn't you know it, I had an order come in on my headset. I'm taking the order. I'm filling the order. I'm doing what I'm supposed. I'm doing what I'm getting paid to do. I go around the side to get fries. All this just individual, unbeknownst to me, comes up behind me, grabs me with these banana hands, throws me against the wall, and all of a sudden is just digging feverishly down to my pants. And I'm like, "Give me the damn thing!" And I'm like, "What?" Turns me around, throws me against the wall, very passionately, mind you, and it's like digging in my pants trying to get his remote out. And I'm like, "Easy, you're gonna be missing the inventory." And she's pulling it out, and I'm like, and she's turning, what she goes, "Can you effing hear when someone's pounding on a wall?" I went, "Hi, what?" She goes, "Didn't you hear me pounding?" I'm like, "I had an order. I couldn't Turns over where the bathroom joins the wall in the kitchen, if you will, like, the patrons can use. All the cups were falling off the thing from her, like, pounding on the wall because I didn't hear her. So we're there trying, and she had, and mind you, while she's like grabbing a hold of me, manhandling me, I was like not realizing it's going full speed down there, and she's like, "Yeah!" Now, mind you, I can honestly say that when I'm done with myself, you can't touch me. Like, leave me alone. Don't even go near me. No touch. No touch. She's still humming away down there. Those batteries lasted forever. I've never known batteries to hold out that long. But she is trying to, now mind you, after all this was said and done with, I've come to find out, after she was done, she's pounding and pounding and pounding. And I'm like, kind of just not paying attention. She's trying to walk through the store, was trying to get around through the sitting area, trying to get back. And here she was like climbing onto, holding onto equipment because she could barely walk because there's this live wire of an egg going off. So that's where that came from. And she basically had to rip it out of my pants. That sounded weird. And turn it off. I'm like, "Why didn't you just pull it out?" Apparently she couldn't grab a hold of it. I don't know what she was doing or how this, I'm sorry. I don't know much about vaginas. I really don't know much. I mean, I came out of one. Obviously, I was conceived in one. Obviously, it held me for 9 months, and then it spit me out, sort of. I was ripped out with those salad spoons. But, I was my mother was in labor with me for, like, was it 18, 20 hours, something like that? And, I tell people, while I was in there so long, they said, 20 hours? I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Wow, that's a long labor." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I wallpapered her uterus. They're like, "Why?" I'm like, "What else is a gay guy going to do with a vagina for that long? Seriously, at least make it look livable." So anyway, that's the story of that. She ends up retrieving this sucker, and she had a hell of a time walking the rest of the night. She said she had such muscle fatigue in her legs, and I'm like, "What were you doing in the bathroom?" I mean, I thought you would sit down. I don't really know how that all works. I know what works for me, but she's a female, and in my opinion, she's missing something down there. Because I am more used to the visual of something being there. But anyway, so yeah. And last I checked, I wonder if she was hardwood floors. I think she might have been. I don't really know. But I don't really want to get a razor that close to me down there like that. That's just not something I want to go into. But at any rate, so yeah, the egg situation. So she had to rip this thing out of her. And after she has both pieces on her now, she goes, "I do not understand what you were doing." I'm like, "I have an order." And she's like, "Seriously?" And she was a little pissed. Well, I think like a month later, she got over herself. And she comes in, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and no one was around. The place was very dead. It was like first of the year. It gets real slow there. She walks up and puts her remote in my hand. She goes, "Let's try this again." Needless to say, that was a faster one. I realized I could just tap, 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 tap. I'm like, oh, someone loves me. Tap, 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 tap. And it's like low, medium, high, off, low, medium, high, off, low. Like, vroom, vroom. It was like someone's shooting on a gas pedal. Just vroom, vroom. She apparently liked that because it worked. So, but we were much better about things. So anyway, that's the quick little story that I had to get clearance on. And I didn't get clearance, but I kind of sort of did. So I'm doing it without saying anyone's name, but I was involved in that. So I can officially say that a gay guy can get a straight woman off without even touching her. I'm living proof. So, but anyway, that's that one. And yes, Mandy, I'm going to work on a song. I will get another one up here. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. See how it goes. I've been busy cooking and baking and making this thing go, real high powered. So anyway, if anyone remembers anything that needs to be mentioned, by all means, let me know. Text me. Do something. So in the meantime, be good. If you can't be good at it. If you can't be good at it, have fun trying. I know I do. Alright, guys. Keep rocking. See ya. Toodles. Bye.